Good morning. It's Monday, so it's time for some book talks. I missed last Monday, so I missed last Monday's book talks. Apologize for that, but I have a couple of books to talk about. This one we don't have yet. It's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. We don't have it yet, but we're going to have it because it's a really great whodunit murder mystery. There is a senior in high school who's trying to do her capstone project. We don't really have those here at East, but some other schools require you to do an entire year-long sort of research thesis paper. And she wants to do hers about a murder that happened in town about 5 years ago. What she tells her teachers is that she wants to do a report about how social media affected the outcome of the investigation. But what she really wants to do is figure out who actually murdered the girl. So you can imagine how that turns out. It actually was really good. There were great clues to follow. There weren't terribly many red herrings that threw you off. There was just enough information that you could follow along and guess who did it. Or if you're like me and you just let the story just flow right on over you, you can just love when it turns out the way it turns out. So it's really good. But if you like other murder mysteries, come talk to us. We've got a lot in the library already that we'd be happy to put in your hand. So the next book I want to talk about is Maybe This Time by Casey West. If you've ever read any Casey West, it is classic Casey West. She is a romance writer, and it's about high school kids who live high school lives. So this girl works for the florist, and in the events that her florist boss works, she sometimes works with a caterer who has a teenage son. You can imagine where it goes. But it goes there really quickly, and I really do like the whole idea that this book is set up with 9 different events over the course of a year. And so it's not a day-to-day thing. It takes a whole year to get from the start to the finish. And it specifically talks just about the 9 different events that they work together. I really did enjoy it. Also, this book and this book both came from the book fair. They are neither one in our library yet, but they will be very soon. So this is the other one I read. I actually read this on my Kindle. I checked it out from the public library, but the book fair had it, and we bought it because it's amazing. Sarah Dessen. Again, if you've never read Sarah Dessen and you like contemporary and you like some romance, then you should come in and check some out because she's amazing. So this book is about a girl who has her whole life planned out. Her mother has been out of her life for a very, very long time, but she lives with her dad. Her dad's getting married, and her grandmother thinks are great. But as it turns out, she can't go where she's supposed to go while her dad's on his honeymoon, so she ends up at her mom's house. So it's called The Rest of the Story because there's a whole half of her life that she hasn't ever known anything about, and she thought that was kind of normal. But instead, she has these cousins and these aunts and this rich history and this whole tradition of lake life that she's never seen before. So she gets to experience what that's about, and when her dad comes back from the honeymoon, he's like, okay, we'll come home. And she's like, I don't know that I'm ready for that. Circumstances turn out that her dad and the new stepmom end up at the lake, but on the other side of the lake. So, funny story, there's one lake in this book, but one is called North Lake, the other one is called Lake North. One is the ritzy side, and one is more the working class side. And so there is exactly the dichotomy that you would expect in that situation. It's a really good book. I would say it's probably one of my favorite Sarah Dessens. That's saying a lot because I love her so much. So if you want to come check this out, I'll probably be ready maybe at the end of the week. We have some other Sarah Dessens if you want to start before this one gets done. Come talk to us about it. Let us know. Hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you next week.